So a bit about me, I'm just quickly, so you know like where I'm coming from, what I do. I was first a filmmaker, second I was a teacher, then I became a marketer, and I found that I was actually using, I don't know if it's chicken and egg, I was either adapting marketing to meet my already existing skills of teaching and filmmaking and video content creation, or that's just naturally the direction marketing's going, and that's sort of, or at least my style of marketing goes. So either way, I think I've just sort of rolled what I like to do into what I like to do, or what I'm doing now. So that's kind of been my task at Telestream, is to just take those skills and things that I like to do and really pour them into what I can do to help the business from a marketing side. So that is sort of what I've tried to do. There's way too much to cover. Marketing and social media marketing is a massive topic, and there's probably, for example, from Social Media Marketing World, which is just one of hundreds of marketing conferences around the world, there's probably 50 to 200 hours of content, all on different types of marketing, and everyone you go to says, hey, I'm just going to have a half hour, an hour to dive into this, but you know, if you want to really learn about this, it's going to take at least 2 to 3 days of content, and that's just on that one subtopic or area. And of course, then Facebook or a social media platform changes everything, and you're kind of having to relearn those techniques. So unless you're doing it every day, and it's really no one person knows it all, and there's no way to stay on top of everything. So it's really key to focus on a couple simple strategies, some basic guiding principles that will help you, and then apply those over and over again, and then stick to a platform or two that you feel really comfortable with if social media is what you're interested in doing. Again, social media is not the only way to market. There's many different ways to market, but social media is becoming one of the most common and popular ways to do it. And if you don't have some sort of a social connection, the estimate is by 2030 that we're going to be so social. In fact, Mark Zuckerberg said everything is social, and I think people are beginning to wake up to that fact, because all it is a digital recreation of what we've been doing for thousands of years, which is a connections between people. So it's about relationship. It's about using those relationships to to either help your business or help your cause or whatever it is you're trying to do. So that's really, marketing is just an extension of that networking effect that we've always done. Now, what we'll try to cover today, the little piece that I'll try to cover is we'll try to cover some basics. So for those of you who are coming new to this and just want to kind of get a quick refresher, I think it's good to set that. We'll cover some advanced content creation very quickly, because I am particularly a content creator. I'm not so much, I don't do the ad buying often. I haven't been given an ad budget yet to spend. So I typically am asked to create the content for the ads and to help design the campaigns for the ads. But I rarely get my way when it comes to how much we spend and where and on what platforms we go and how those ads are placed. I get to work and offer my influence and guidance to those, and I have a lot of opinions, but it's rare that I'm actually the one setting up the Facebook ad or setting up the YouTube ad and so forth. I can talk about those. I'm more of a theorist than a practical applicator every day, because it's just not part of my daily job. That being said, we can dive into that, and it's actually something that I'd like to get more hands-on with going forward. Then we'll try to get into some small business advice. I don't have a ton of that because I don't work with small businesses regularly, but I did watch some presentations on this, and there's a lot that we can talk about that I know that will practically impact you. And the way you apply marketing for a small business, if that's what you're here for, we can certainly get into that, and I think there's some insights we can talk about and offer. Then finally, I can bring away some trends, and we can talk about the Facebook apocalypse if you haven't heard of that, and so where things are going. This presentation I'm going to steal from other presenters and experts in the field. I will give credit, though, so you can always go directly to the source. I'm giving it to you secondhand. I'm giving you my take on it a little bit, and I'm giving you, in some cases, the original slides that were presented at the conference. If you don't know Social Media Marketing World, it occurs once a year. It's been going for about 6 years now. It was started by a blogger named Michael Stelzner, who was an author, and eventually he decided he started writing about marketing and social media marketing, and he turned that into a conference that he's been trying to scale. Started at maybe a few hundred people, maybe 100. He's worked it up to almost 5,000 attendees now in person, talking to conferencers. This is my first time going to it. And people really love it, but it, of course, is scaling and changing as they grow. They're trying to keep it that small feel while still getting bigger and bigger and bigger every year. I found it's usually in San Diego, and it's usually in end of February, early April. So you can sign up now. There's different levels and tickets. They try to let you have fun. What I was impressed with was just the scope and the breadth of the content. Like I said, there was probably 200 hours of sessions you could go. There's no way any one person could see it all. So everyone was seeing a different piece of the conference. Now, of course, just like anything else, different presenters have different quality. You know, you're always rolling dice when you walk into a room and you see a topic. They may suck. It may not be interesting. The way they present the information may not be the way you can pick it up. So when you go to conferences, I like the digital tickets because then you can just peruse and watch the videos and see anything you missed over time. So they do offer those, and that's where if you do get the all access ticket, you will see all the recordings of every session. You can see all the slides. It's great. So real quick, let's find out where you guys are at so I get a better sense of where you guys are at. How many of you, raise your hand if you are advertising on Facebook right now? Okay, about a little less than half. How many of you are local businesses or service providers? Okay. How many of you are trying to get, let's start with leads. You're not actually looking at making a sale online. You're not trying to sell a digital service. You don't have a product or service you actually are selling, but you're wanting to get contact information. Your goal primarily through advertising is to grab contact information, leads. Okay, and it's okay if this applies to more than one of you. What about actual sales? You're actually trying to sell something. Okay. And then how many of you are trying to get foot traffic into an actual physical business? You are? Okay. So that's the hardest one, especially in an area like this where obviously we just don't have a ton of foot traffic. Okay, and then finally, how many of you are marketers that are working for clients? Okay. That's the last thing I want to know. Okay, so it looks like most of you some of you are already staking out advertising on Facebook, so we'll talk about that. And then finally, most of you are looking to either sell or get contact information from somebody online, so you can either sell them something or sell them something later. So, how many of you feel you've been successful so far? It's fair. You don't have to be successful. It's okay if you're sorted. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know. Mixed results. I have different feelings. I hear that a lot. A lot of social media marketers are like, I spend money on Facebook. I just don't know if it's making me any money. And I'm getting mixed results. Sometimes I feel like it's working. Sometimes I feel like it's not. Sometimes I feel like I'm just losing money or I'm throwing money at Facebook and other platforms. So you're not alone. Like everybody's trying to figure out what's the formula? How do I make this work? And you'll be surprised. It's not as crazy or complex as you think. But it's important to remember what your goal is. Yes, you're trying to get leads. Yes, you're trying to get contact information. But really, you need to go back to the number one thing, which is that you have to think about relationships. I know this is cliche. I know you've probably heard it a million times, but it's just, I can't stress enough. And maybe when we go through this a little bit, you'll understand it a little bit better. But you should always think about the relationship with your person online first. That's what social media exists for. It is so that we can connect with somebody. You're looking for those one-to-one personal connections. You're looking for that value of a positive interaction. Now, the example that we say here is that let's say somebody, and I heard this at the door, let's say somebody knocks on your door, a cold call. It used to be door-to-door salesman before social media, right? If you're a door-to-door salesman, you go knock, knock, knock. Hey, I've got something to sell you. What's going on? Hey, can I come in? And most of the time, you're like, please get out of here. Go away. So the more you're like that on social media, the more you're going to get rejections, right? So if somebody, however, knocks on the door and goes, hey, Mary, how's it going? How have you been? I brought you some cookies. You know, and you know, how's Bill? How's the family? What's going on? They already know you. You are a warm lead. There's a connection there. You already have some value. And then they even brought cookies. Now they say, hey, by the way, I'm selling these Bibles. Would you be interested? Or would, you know, Grandpa Joseph or so-and-so. The point is that your connection is first. Always the connection first. And the way we make connections, if you've read that famous book, how many of you read Was it influencing people? How to make friends and influence people?
Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. Okay, this is it's true. You can go back to that book again and again and again. And really the only principle of that book is when you're going fishing, you need to use a worm. What's the fish interested in? What can you do for them is really the question. Everybody's asking, what can you do for them? So, and to put it, what have you done for me? So if you come showing up with cookies or a worm or some sort of valuable thing, you're bringing some value to their interaction, they're much more likely to stick around and hear what you have to say. So remember that. Relationships first. Always the relationship. Okay. Next, let's talk about before the basics. Now, this is for Jordan because we talk about this occasionally sometimes, but it is today, in today's digital age, social media is great, but it really is, I think, a second tier to your phone book entry. You need to have a phone book entry in the phone book. It's how people will find you. Today, when I want to know who someone is, I Google search them. I say, I just met so-and-so. If I can't find them on Google, I can't find a landing page or a website for them, I look for them on LinkedIn. I want to see, do they have a real job? Do they have like real connections? Has anybody recommended them recently? This is what we're talking about, social capital, the network. If you're not already somewhere on the network, whether it's in LinkedIn or whether, now everyone thinks, well, I have a Facebook page. No, Facebook is not an open network. You might be there, I have no idea. I get hit up by fake Facebook pages all the time. LinkedIn, it's harder to fake. It's a lot harder to fake on LinkedIn. So if I'm going for a professional network, I look on LinkedIn first. But barring that, a good website. A good website is just basic. It's your entry point. I can look up Dr. So-and-so has a website. The better the website, the better my initial first impression, right? So if you or your clients don't already have just one landing page, I don't even care if it has more than one site. I don't care if anything, just one page. michaeljensen.com, potholders, like homemadepotholders.com. I don't care what it is. It just can be one single page. Just get it up. Get it done, get it up. You have to do that first, I think, before you start seeking around on social media. Because Facebook will help you, but the goal is to get them to not necessarily, you can buy on Facebook. There's a lot of things you could do there, but if they're always in Facebook, you're never owning your own traffic. You're never owning your own leads. You're never making your own brand. You're always existing within someone else's existence. So get your phone book entry first. Get up there. Then you can start expanding that. You can start taking out ads. Yeah?
Can I add one point to this? Because I talk about this with clients a lot. One other reason why it is critical to have a website that is optimized for whatever conversion matters to you is because if you are spending money on Facebook and you do not have that, you are throwing money away. So like I was working with a local yoga school who sell expensive class packages, the kind of thing that you are not likely to just land on a website and purchase right then. And they had no way set up to capture people's contact information if they weren't ready to buy right then. Like a learn more or whatever, where you just grab their contact information and then at least you can email market them. And that's you're just wasting money. So if you're just sending people to a page that says sign up and people land there and they're like, I don't want to spend $1,200 right now. I mean, that's just totally wasted investment. So it is like critical and not that complicated to set up a basic website optimized for whatever conversion matters to you.
Right, and we'll get to the reverse engineering it for conversions, which is another piece of it. I mean, everything should be contextual, right? When you show up to someone's door, you ask them how they're doing, and you say, hey, by the way, here are the cookies, how's Grandpa Joseph doing, would you like this, by the way, I'm selling these Bibles. All that was contextual. You had a progression to get to that sale, to that ask. So the better you can make those points of contact from, hey, I saw an ad on Facebook, to, hey, now I'm watching your video, to, hey, now I'm on your landing page, now I'm just asking you for a simple thing. We're going to get into that. Okay, that's contextually bringing them into your sale or to your conversion or asking for your contact. But before you do any of that, at least have a web page with your name on it, what you do, and contact me if you have questions, right? Start there. And then we can get into the advertising and the throwing money away. Facebook has this thing where you can do in Facebook conversions. You don't need a web page. You don't need a website. You can do it all in Facebook. You do the ad, you click on the ad, and it asks you for you fill out the form or whatever you're asking for them. It's all in Facebook. I've heard mixed results on those. Some people say they work great-ish for some cases, other people don't. But the point is that if you just leave it up to Facebook, you are potentially throwing a ton of money away, and you're not getting people to your site, to your page, to where you can contextualize things. Facebook's only going to give you a certain set of tools, and you're going to have to stick within their rules. Yeah?
Regarding, say, a real estate agent, okay, if they're on social media, say, directed to their company's website, or you're not saying they need their own?
So most of the real estate agents, if they're in a larger firm, like they get their own sort of sub-landing page within the company.
Gotcha.
So if it's a real estate agent, they want the business, they have to send it to their own sub-landing page about them. Now, even if it's just, agent so-and-so at State Farm or wherever, or X Realty, at least they're a legitimate agent, and if they have the ability to control some of the things on that page, the better. Now, if those tools just are really limited, they don't have a lot of control over them, then often what you want to do is ask for a redirection, or you want to send them to their own vanity website. So even if they set up their own website, then we know that, and that website can say about me, and it can say I'm a realtor for statefarm.com, or whatever it is. I don't know if State Farm does realty, but the point is that click here, and we'll go over to that page if you want to learn more about how I'm an agent for them, and have those two pages talking to each other. If the only point is that the reason why you wouldn't want to use that other page is it doesn't give you the control you want. It doesn't let you add your own forms, make it look the way you want. You're constantly having to deal with this corporate web page designer, which sucks, and you have to ask, and it takes months to get any changes. So it's much faster to be mobile and get johnnyagent.com. And then if people want to know what they're affiliated with, you can always link back and forth between the two pages. But you want a web page you control, you can put your own forms on, you can design the way you want.
It's also an ownership question with that situation. If you're dealing with some domain inside a corporate site and then somebody submits their email address, the corporation owns the email address.
Right.
You don't.
Right.
If you've got your own website and your landing page and you're controlling that, even if redirected traffic to it, somebody submits their contact material information, the conversion goal, then that's information that you own.
Right. It's absolutely, and so you just the guiding principle is you should exist, and you should have control over your own content, and keep it simple. Don't get complex. You can always make it complicated later, but just start real simple. Okay, so then finally, you could think about Google AdWords. That's a simple way to try testing some ads and get people to your page. That's a very simple way to get your feet wet. Again, it's not. I'm not saying you have to do this. I'm just saying these are steps that you might consider before doing social media marketing. Then, and some of them are all interrelated. You should probably have a video somewhere. I just think it's time. We are mostly communicating. When I want to know how to do something, when I want to know what somebody's like or what they interact or what they believe in or what they're talking about, I'll check to see if they have a video. If they have a video, I'll watch it usually. I'll give them a minute of my time to check out what the video is about. So usually if I'm interested in someone, a video is a bonus, and it really helps. If it helps communicate what the message is, then I'm all in. I'll watch the video. So I recommend you have a video or at least a YouTube presence somewhere, at least 1 or 2 videos. Now, that being said, and then finally you can start adding Facebook pages, and then you can start adding social media marketing on other platforms. So those are kind of the before the basics things I recommend. Now let's get into the basic marketing content and guiding principles. So the first is content, right? So what is your message? That's all it is. What is content? What is your message? How does it differ from everyone else? How does it differ from your competition? How does it different? So that's number 1. Now, number 2 is distribution. So all marketers are just trying to create content. They're trying to create a message that's different, and they're trying to distribute that message. All that means, what good is a great content or great message if nobody sees it? If it's in front of the wrong person at the wrong time? Your goal for distribution is try to get it to the right person at the right time, and that is the tricky part, right? But 90% of the time, that person is what's called a warm lead. And how do you get a warm lead? It's just like we talked about. You already have a connection with them. You have a relationship. They've seen a video of yours. They've been to your Facebook page. They were recommended by a friend. Somebody shared a post that you did. You are connecting with individuals one by one by one. So when somebody knows who you are, they can go to your website, they know that you're a legitimate business, they go to your LinkedIn profile, you have social capital, or your client has social capital, you have created a warm lead. So that's your goal. Your goal is not to get the random drop-by who doesn't know you from Adam and try to sell them something. Hey, I got this great thing. You should buy it right now. That's not your goal. Your goal is to make a connection, tell your message, then ask them for something. So connections first. That's back to that relationship first. A warm lead, 90% of the time is, again, I made that up, by the way. I haven't measured that. It's going to differ from, but most of the time, these are going to be the people who buy from you. Everyone's heard of the 80-20 rule. 20% of your clients give you 80% of your business. It's generally, I've found to be true. People who believe in you, believe in your message, give you most of your business. Okay, conversion. So what's the point of having great content, having great connections, having distribution? You've put the right ad in the right spot, you've targeted the right person for that ad, or you've somehow they've seen a YouTube video that you played, or you paid to get in front of them. You've distributed to the right person, but then you never ask for anything. You never have a conversion funnel. You never have a page to fill out your contact information. You never have that thing that you were offering them. We'll get into that. What is the gift? What are the cookies that you're bringing? What is the value? How do they get that? It's an exchange. Hey, I got this great chocolate chip cookie batch. It's fresh out of the oven. I just baked it. All I'm asking for is your name, if you want to learn more. Okay, so this next part is about that. Optimizing your conversion funnel. How do you make advanced content? How do you cement that relationship, get that relationship with the person, and then convert it into a sale or a contact or a lead that you're looking for? So this comes from Nicholas Kuzmich. It's a great presentation at Social Media Marketing World. He's a genius. You can go to his workshop. It's 2-day intensive. I'm sure it's like $2,000, but you should check him out if you're at all interested. Everything that I'm about to show you is pretty much straight from him on this. And he did a presentation called How to Ensure Facebook Ads Are Profitable Every Time. It's a pretty great catch line. But we're going to get into this. So he calls it the predictable profit process. Now, basically, it involves 4 steps. It involves your ad. It involves your lead magnet, which is your landing page, or the thing that you're trying, your cookies. Your lead magnet is your chocolate chip cookies, the value that you're bringing in exchange for some contact information. The thank you offer. Hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for having a chocolate chip cookie with me. By the way, are you interested in a Bible? And then finally, targeted, retargeted. Don't just ask once. Usually, especially today, and data is bearing this out, people are waiting till the last minute to make decisions. They don't typically make them the first time they meet you. They kind of like to stew on it. They like to think about it. And then within about, and we'll talk about this, a certain amount of time, that's kind of your best window. All right, so before you do any of this, obviously, what is the homework you have to do first? You have to know who is your target customer. You have to think about your targeted persona. That's what we talk about. Who is your perfect person that you would sell this to? All right, now, this is where Facebook comes in. Now, we'll talk a little bit about Facebook. These principles apply on anywhere, whether it's YouTube or LinkedIn or Snapchat or anywhere else. Every social media platform is trying to give you as much information as an advertiser so you can place ads in the correct place and they're not wasted. You're getting a ROI for your ads. You know you're getting in front of the right people at the right time. Facebook is insane. It's the most sophisticated, knowledgeable social media network on the planet that's ever existed. It's insane how much they know about you. They know more about you or your customers than they know about themselves. And you can drill down and target people by an insane number of different categories and cross-linkings, whether it's their location, how many charitable donations they've given, whether they're expats, they live in another country, their digital activities, what they're doing, what kind of videos they're watching, what kind of political orientation, how much education level they have, what gender, everything. So you can really drill down to figure out who you're trying to target. But basically, Nick calls the targeting trifecta, and this is the standard persona mapping. A simple way to think about it is, who does your target follow? Who inspires them? So if you're looking to sell personal improvement products, or how to get back your life in 30 days, a course, who do you think that person might be interested in? Maybe they liked Tony Robbins. Maybe they liked other influencers that sell personal coaching products. If they are a craft homemaker on Etsy and they make the homemade oven mitts, who would they follow? Who's your idol? Who do you like that would follow that? So try to identify people in that field, and then Facebook those people probably have pages, and those pages have followers. So you can actually target people who follow Tony Robbins, or target the most popular oven mitt maker. So you can quickly identify your audience by how they've self-selected themselves. You can also ask, where do they frequent? What kind of blogs do they read? So you probably want to maybe think about an ad on that blog. What sort of articles do they like? What publications? What YouTube stars do they like to watch? What videos on YouTube might they follow or watch? You can place ads on those videos. If someone's searching for, this is again just thinking about what kind of search strings they might think. How do I make a homemade sweater? How do I use natural fibers to create an oven mitt? Right? So you can think about the types of things they're thinking about, where they're following, where they might be searching online. Put yourself in their shoes, and then think about where you want to put your ads. Finally, where do they spend money? This is a big one, because where do you think they're actually shopping? Are they shopping at Walmart? Are they shopping at Whole Foods? Are they, where we spend money says a lot about us and what we're willing to spend money on. Okay, so all that in mind, once you have your person in mind, you know what they're doing, you kind of have an idea of where you want to place your ads, you must give before you ask, right? This goes back to that thing we talked about with relationships. Nobody cares. You're not saying, hey, I've got this awesome thing, you should come buy it. I'm trying to sell you a Bible, or I'm trying to sell you an oven mitt, or whatever it is. Nobody cares about you yet. What you're trying to say is, hey, I've got this great thing that's going to make your life easier. I know how hard it is to make oven mitts at home. I have a really quick 2-step process that'll make it so much easier for you. Hey, I know the cheapest, most healthy natural fiber you can possibly use. It's so soft, it's like lamb's wool, and it doesn't cost anything. Check out this quick video. Hook them with something interesting. I have this great thing. I have these chocolate chip cookies. Come see them. They're amazing. And I will give them to you. They're yours. Give before you ask. That is your ad. Your ad is your gift. A lot of people don't think of ads as gifts. Ads are gifts, or they're ads for gifts. So and Nick says this, every step of your marketing process should be valuable in and of itself. Your ad should be valuable. It's useful. Even if they'll only ever see the ad, they went away and they were better for it, their life was better because they saw your ad. It's a weird way to think, but you've got to start thinking like that. Your landing page was better, their life was better because they went to your landing page. Your interaction with them after they went to your landing page, they submitted, they actually converted, they entered your contact information. You still made their life even better after that. And then finally, after they bought your product or bought your service, they got the greatest gift of all. So just think about that. Each step is valuable. Never once in your funnel, in the process of building this relationship with them, were you offering a negative value, taking more than you gave, not offering fair compensation for whatever it is they got. You have to offer value at every step. With that in mind, let's talk about the first thing, the cookies, the first thing you're going to give away. According to Nick Kuzmich's research, he thinks it should follow the SAGE principle. It should be short, 4 to 7 minutes to consume it. Could be a video. Could be we'll get to what he thinks. It could be a short handout, PDF. A lot of people were doing ebooks. Nobody wants your ebooks anymore. Now they're e-PDFs. They're one-pagers. A lot of people do those, right?
Former teacher.
Huh? Yeah. Yes, right. Goal-oriented. So you should be able to, after they consume this video, read this little one page, whatever it is that you give them, it should get them one step closer to whatever it is. Making that oven mitt, finding that cheap natural fiber, understanding the Bible, however it is that whatever you're trying to sell at the end. And then finally, make it easy, make it convenient. By the way, don't make it useless. They say, and I think this is, by easy, make it easy, it actually means that your content might be more sophisticated. It actually takes more work to make something sound simple in a short amount of time than it takes to just ramble about it forever. So if you can make it understandable, you're actually operating at a high level, especially if it's a complex concept or process or whatever.
Can I just ask, 4 to 7 minutes seems long to me, particularly on certain platforms. Is that what he said?
That's what he says. I can't back it up. I'm just telling you what he tells me, yeah. So some people think you could go shorter. You can test it. Repeat the question. The question is whether 4 to 7 minutes, it seems long. And I'm just telling you what he says. I have done no research on the length of time of a consumable. It may differ depending on your audience. It may differ depending on the product. It may differ depending on the gift.
I have done a lot of research on it, and it does depend on the audience and the product, but mostly it depends on how deep they are in the purchase funnel.
Mm-hmm.
If they're deep in the purchase funnel, they want all the information we can give them.
We have found that at Telestream.
And I remember asking the creative director I worked with once why long copy always performs better than short copy. And he said, if they're not interested, it doesn't matter whether it's short or long.
Right.
If they are interested, give them the information they need, and you'll build that relationship with them
Right.
by virtue of exchanging that value with them, and they're much more likely to convert.
I think that's a great way to put it. The deeper in the sales funnel they are, the more information they want. We're talking right now at the very top, and he's right. If they're not interested, they're not going to care, whether it's 4 minutes or 7 minutes. But if they do care, they probably don't want it to be too long because you're just piquing their interest.
The newest algorithm on Facebook from a workshop is that they want videos exactly 1 minute. And if you put them up on Facebook, you're going to get a lot of play. It just came out in a big workshop.
You just have to be careful with the conflict of interest there.
Yeah, but it just happened. It's just like their newest thing. That's what they're going to give the most attention to with this new algorithm.
We can talk about that.
But
Yeah.
the conflict of interest is Facebook gets paid when somebody clicks.
Yeah.
So they want the videos to be short
Yeah.
because they want the volume of clicks.
Right.
So about 1 minute, was it 1 minute and 5
That's right.
seconds was the exact.
So if you're just trying to drive people into the top of the funnel and you've got a great landing page and you can start to fine tune it there,
Yeah.
and you're not paying too much for
Yeah.
those clicks, then it can be very smart. And 1 minute, that's all of our.
I'm not talking ads, I'm talking posts.
Right.
No, I know.
Yeah. So I don't want to get too confused in the details here because I think you both brought up great points. The trick is, and don't get hung up on the amount of time. Remember, your goal is just to offer them real good value for their time. So whether they're spending 1 minute or whether they're spending 5 minutes, you can test what you find is better for this piece of content. Put out a couple different versions when you're ready. Don't start with a couple, just start with one. But just make sure that it's valuable, that they got their money's worth, which was their time. Okay? So that's all we're talking about. Now, that's what he says, 4 to 7 minutes. Sounds right to me. Who am I to say? Just get it done. Make it something useful for them. So here's where he says these are the types of consumables, these are the ones you may have seen over the time in different marketing. But basically, high desire. You're looking for high desire and easy to consume. I have a high desire. Your target has a high desire to consume this, and it's easy to consume. So you're building that. Ooh, I gotta get that. I gotta get me that thing, whatever it is. I gotta watch that video. I gotta get that handout. I gotta get that, whatever it is. He thinks it's the little PDF one-sheeter. It used to be ebooks. Easy to consume, low desire. Nobody wants to read a whole ebook apparently these days. He thinks even worse is a sales call. Who's going to desire a sales call? Who wants to be sold for a half an hour on the phone with someone they don't know? Hey, I got this timeshare in Boca Raton. If you just call me, we can talk about it. Oh, that sounds like an exciting half hour. I can't wait. A sales call is never a good incentive. Don't think of that as good bait. That's bad rat bait, bad mouse bait, bad trap bait, right? That's terrible. They know that's a trap. Everyone's avoiding the sales call like the plague. Hey, sign up here and I'll call you. Okay, webinar. Hard to consume, but people are interested in webinars or small video series. So a short webinar might be a 10-minute webinar, 15-minute webinar, which is kind of like a video. The only trick with those is that if they're live, they're hard to repeat over and over again. They get exhausting. So, you know, ending up in that little PDF download is not a bad idea if that's where you want to go. So let's start with step 1, the ad. So you've created your consumable, whatever it is, the free cookies that you're bringing, that you're offering. It has high desire. It's easy for someone to consume. So now you want to build an advertisement around that. Hey, you targeted your person. I know you're looking to make oven mitts. I know you're looking for natural fibers. I have this amazing little handout that's going to show you how to get the best natural fibers so cheaply. It's going to be so easy, and it's right here. Just come, and I was like you. So you're going to basically create an ad that's going to stand out. Now, when you create an ad on Facebook, you should be thinking attention getting. There's so many ads on Facebook. And we're talking Facebook right now, but this applies to any platform. But Facebook in particular, because it has the most targeting right now. But there's downsides to Facebook. But either way, no matter what platform, whether it's Snapchat, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever it is, you need to grab their attention. You have to stand out from the crowd. You're getting, if they're on their mobile phone and they're scrolling on that infinite Facebook scroll, you want them to stop. It should be stop-worthy. So create a quick image. Now, a very easy way to do this, according to Nick, is just make your image black and white with one piece of color somewhere that just stands out. Contrast. You've seen those great Apple ads stand out from the crowd, like it's a whole field of flowers, of red flowers, and there's one orange one, or one yellow one, or one red one. Just think of things that contrast or pop out to people. Grab their attention quickly. If they tell a story really quick, something simple. There are a lot of free marketing sites that will give you great little short videos that are just noteworthy or noticeable. There's great little funny free photo sites that do similar things. Okay. Lead magnet. So once you've grabbed their attention, build the ad. The ad, we didn't have a lot of time to talk about it, but there are steps to building your ad. And there's an anatomy of a perfect ad, which you can go look up Nick Kuzmich. He has an idea on how he thinks you should create the perfect ad. But basically, it just tells a quick story. It says you hook them, you grab them with the visual, and then you say, hey, I was like you, or do you have this issue? I was like you. Here's how I solved it. If you're interested in solving this problem, just like me, go here. It's basically the gist of it. So once you send them to the landing page is where you're going to give them your gift, your PDF, your handout, your quick video, whatever it is. Download now. Again, this is research, they says, but he says download now is the most performing button he's ever done. Download now with 2 chevrons. Also, yep, download now, 2 chevrons. That's his most performing button. Also, he recommends use the Facebook blue for your button because people are used to it. Okay, so you've got them from your ad to your landing page where they're going to get their free thing. They're going to download it now. That's all you're asking at this point. So at this point, you're going to give your thank you page. You're going to then upsell them or offer them something more. You're going to give them an offer. So your goal is to give them something. If they walk away now, that's all they get. That's great. But in the meantime, if they're interested, they can stick around. Now, here's where it gets kind of interesting. He thinks you should acknowledge them with a quick video. Say, hey, thanks for coming to get my great handout on natural fibers. By the way, it will be in your inbox in about 7 minutes. While you're waiting, watch this free video. The reason he says you don't give them instant gratification is because you want them to stick around for a second. You're trying to have a quick conversation with them, because what you're really trying to do is tell them about the whole fiber set that you're selling them, the Bible, whatever it is. They came, you gave them some cookies, they grabbed it, they were there. You have their attention. You even have their trust a little bit. So now you're going to say, hey, it'll be in your inbox in about 7 minutes. Just delay that download now email or whatever it is. Delay it just long enough for them to watch a video. And that's where you'll say, you're going to give them your irresistible offer. The thing that they really didn't know they couldn't do without. And they will only have 3 days to decide. Again, due to testing, he says that 3 days is the optimal time limit. Now, 3 days may seem like a long time. We'll talk about that in a second. But what you do in those in that moment is you say, thanks so much for for getting your thing. It'll be in your inbox in just a second. By the way, I love natural fibers. If natural fibers is something that you're really interested in, it took me so long to figure this out. There's, I had to find these alpaca farmers. I worked with these, these natural wool farmers, and we created a blend that had never been done before. It was really interesting, and it was so hard. But eventually, we got this amazing fiber that I think you're really going to like, and I actually have a free sample packet for you. If you really want that, and plus I will show you not only that, but how to make an oven mitt in 5 minutes. That's amazing. That is what your offer is. It has to be called the Godfather offer, because it's an offer they can't refuse. In this case, it is a discount. He's giving a 50% discount, very limited time offer on his exclusive training. That's the offer they can't refuse. And they only have 3 days to get $300 off. If they walk away, they got your great handout. At least you had a little interaction. You may be able to see that they visited your page. You can retarget them later if they're interested in other stuff. But in the meantime, you're trying to sell them on the next thing.
I have to be time cop here.
Mm-hmm.
We want to give people time to
Yes.
answer questions, ask questions.
Okay, we'll keep moving on. We're almost done here. So, what do you do during those 3 days? Well, glad you asked. They have 3 days to decide. This is when you retarget them on Facebook. Hey, remember that thing, that exclusive free training? Hey, remember that fiber kit we talked about when you visited and watched my video? Hey, remember that thing? By the way, just want to let you know that offer is going to expire in 2 days. So you send that on the first day. And then the second day, you send them another ad. And you send them an email if you got their email. Hey, by the way, just letting you know, that offer we talked about yesterday, you have 1 more day to decide. And then on the third day, you go, just a reminder, it's expiring today. Here's your last chance to buy. Thanks so much. So for those 3 days, you retarget them. Facebook allows you to retarget the people who visited those pages, and you should have their email or contact information at that point, because they had to give you your email in order for you to send them their thing, right? So you're just going to spend those 3 days just gently reminding them that there's this great offer. And with those simple steps, that is basically how you can create profitable Facebook ads every time.
So, we're giving them something. I thought we need to give them more before we finally ask them for a dollar amount. So this is the first time I've ever seen you give, and before they're even getting that for free, you're already asking them for money.
You're having your conversation.
In that 3-day period, yes,
Yeah.
I know. But what is the dollar amount that should be then?
It's totally dependent on what your product is, what your service is, what you're trying to get them to buy, what you're offering. Think about the person you're targeting, how much money they have, and the value of the service or thing that you're offering. So there's no right answer to that. The question is what is the offer they can't refuse? You're trying to lower their resistance to buying. So resistance is it's too much money, I don't have enough time, I'll never use it. Just all the questions that would be in their mind at that moment. You're trying to be like, we'll take care of all those. I have a refund policy. I'll give you money back in 30 days if you're not happy. Just what's the offer?
And then does deadline funnels cost, is that a monthly fee or is there?
Yes, most of these cost some money. ClickFunnels is a subscription. Deadline funnels is a subscription. So what these will do, by the way, if you don't know what a funnel software is, or ClickFunnels or deadline funnels, these will just automate your emails, automate your. Yeah, it's just more time.
It takes more time and more attention
Yeah,
to the details. You're paying for some automation,
yeah.
inconvenience, and it doesn't got what else meeting you're in, it's still happening.
Yeah. So if they come in at 3 a.m. and they watch the video, ClickFunnels or DeadFunnels will send them that first email, hey, thing. And then the next 24 hours later, hey, just a reminder, you've got 2 more days to stay. Hey, 2 days, just so you know, there's only 1 more day, 3rd day, last day. And it will do all that for you based on whatever time they came into the funnel. Yes?
The question is how valuable is your time? Is your time more valuable doing other things or managing your time?
Yeah.
Meetup now offers free campaigns,
Uh-huh.
so you can set that up.
Yes, yes. Yeah, MailChimp is a...
Deadline. See, like, whoever doesn't have a deadline. Right, not a deadline, but you could do it like the first day, the second day. If they buy, you can move them out of that list.
Yeah.
So, like with Aweber, you can move them out of the list if they buy, so that way.
So you need the deadline for them to buy.
Yeah, you'll have to check on, that MailChimp can't do because it's not e-commerce yet. Whereas ClickFunnels and Deadline may actually do it. So you'll have to just decide on that. But you could certainly combo it with there's multiple ways to do this. I'm not saying you have to use these. There's absolutely, and of course you can always do it manually.
But, there's, even MailChimp, there's a lot that can be done with their API that requires some other higher level understanding of how this technology works, but you can get time.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That time. Go for it. That's amazing. Trying to do a longer, drawn-out long tail, you can try that. That may work for your product or sale. Maybe it's a huge asking price. Maybe you're trying to get someone to buy a home or a $100,000 tractor or car, like whatever it is. Those are longer sales processes. That's not going to happen in 3 days. So it really depends a little bit on what you're selling. But yeah, I think for under the $1,000 range, this is pretty doable. Okay, let's talk small business. We don't have a lot of time left, so quickly, another person you might want to check out. She's great. She's funny. She's a little less like punchy and markety than Nick, but she's still great. Andrea Val. And then I didn't have time to put him in the presentation, but John Loomer, Loomer. Both are a little more verbose, not quite as, but they're really good Facebook ad experts. So if you're looking for retarget. The quick takeaway from her is there is no one right way to do a Facebook ad. She has done a ton of small business clients, a ton of different ads, different products, different services. marketing experts, doctors, health courses, everything. And she's finding that weird, right? So she says there's no one size fits all. You just have a testing. You absolutely have a system. If you don't test what you're testing, you have no way to know if you're actually making money. A very simple way to calculate it is cost per a click or per a link click. On Facebook ads. It cost you $2 per click and you got basically 500 link clicks. All right, now you went to your landing page. So now out of those 500 that clicked, you got 100. 100 leads, 5% conversion to final sale. Now what did you sell? You sold a $400 product. 400 times 5 is $2,000. You made $2,000 and you spent $1,000. So you spent $1,000 to get $2,000. You netted $1,000. You had a profitable Facebook campaign. Congratulations. Okay? Makes sense? That's basically it. That's all you're really measuring is your ROI. If you don't have a system, you run a different ad to a same landing page. You just copied it. This time it's a different ad. You tested this ad. Ad 1 went to this page. Ad 2 went to that page. Everything else was the same. The only thing that changed was the ads. You just copied them, but they're different pages. The people don't know that. They're in 2 different tracks. They never even realized that they were hitting the same landing page. But it was different landing pages. You just copied it. And ad 1 did 20% better. Congratulations, you just did your first A/B test. Get rid of the second ad. You don't need it anymore. When you're ready to test your new ad, do it again. Get rid, you will be profitable faster you get rid of your underperforming ads. The only way to know if you're underperforming is if you test ad. But just test one thing at a time. Test your ad. Okay, you're happy with your ad. This one seems to be working. You tested a couple, you're really happy with this one, seems to be working well. Now let's test your landing page. So now go to the next chain, the next chunk. Maybe it's my video. And that video. Just test along with it. Use a system. Systematically test one thing at a time. Call it A/B testing for a reason, and then you'll have your ROI. You'll know if you're getting more sales. You can start introducing new mixes like this ad on Christmas, or just 2 weeks. You can start making it as complex as you want. But once you have a system built, then you can start refining, you can start testing one piece at a time. And at the end of the day, you'll know your results. If you're not keeping track of those, then you'll have no idea if you're making any money or if you're being successful at your marketing. Okay. And I got a jet. So, trends on Facebook. So this, I'm sure you've heard about the apocalypse. Lots going on. Long story short, that they are changing the Facebook algorithm. So they're going to be basically doing a lot of stuff to emphasize more connection, less marketing, more realistic, meaningful things between people, not between businesses and marketers and people not in your network. So what does that mean for you as marketers trying to use Facebook? It means that Facebook is going to get more expensive, more demands for ads, and they're going to be more. It's going to cost more. They're not going to reach as the days of easy money on Facebook. And you have a step-by-step process to get them from Facebook to buy whatever it is that you're getting. And we just talked about that. So with those 3 things, you should be armed to go wage into the Facebook page and do battle. But that being said, just get familiar with that maybe you're no longer going for that huge, all of America type of reach. You're really getting focused on a set of people, and you're trying to offer them value, you're trying to offer them videos, you're trying to offer them content. Some things you're just doing to get your presence, your social capital up. Maybe some things don't go to leads. Not everything has to go to a lead. Maybe it's just to say, who am I, what's my message? Just start learning to connect with people, leaving comments, watching their videos, talking with them. That's where I saw over and over again for the most part, everybody was saying, including the keynote speakers and everything else, is to just get used to these changes, they're coming. And then finally, I heard this, a good alternative as well. So it's not always all about Facebook, but these principles will help you in every platform. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching.